I'm Andreas from Astralis, and welcome to Thorin's YouTube channel. It's a choke-free zone.
We're into the semi-finals, the last 4 teams remaining at Dreamhack Masters Stockholm 2018. And what do you know, the Grand Slam dream is temporarily on hold for the FaZe clan. They didn't even make the semi-finals, so this opportunity to win the 4th title, complete the Grand Slam and get the $1 million is over. But after this tournament, they still have 2 tournaments that count, IM Sydney, Belo Horizonte, so they'll still have a couple of tournaments at which they could do it, one of which obviously is ESL New York, which could get them their 3rd title and get them again to 1 title away from the Grand Slam, and there will be no Astralis at that tournament. They're going to Blast Pro Series in Turkey, Istanbul. Elsewhere, we had Freiburg against his old compatriots from NIP, getting absolutely smashed, having to surrender with the old Pepe meme, and NIP very easily won against Heroic. NIP's kind of had a bit of a Cinderella story because they're in the top 4, and everyone's like, how's that possible? Well, because they didn't play Na'Vi, Ghost beat them. They beat Ghost, and then they beat Heroic. Kind of a bit whack, right, to be in the top 4? But it's not their fault. They just played who was ahead of them. Now they're going to play the best team in the world. The reason they're playing the best team in the world, Astralis overcame MIBR. MIBR has looked good against lesser teams. The best team they'd beaten so far was mouz, who admittedly are in the top 4 here, so that win starts to get a little bit more, I don't know, value overall, it feels like. Still not an elite opponent, so MIBR has yet to really show us any top form. They couldn't do it against Astralis. They had one map, which was the Joker pick. They went for it. It's not that great a map for them. Train. They couldn't make it work. They lost 16-14. Astralis impressed again. Astralis smashed on Overpass. Astralis easily moved into the semi-finals. Last matchups. Then we had mouz against FaZe Clan, obviously a matchup that mouz won at E-League. Again, it was a 3-game series. This time, mouz tried an incredibly arrogant cash pick, got utterly smashed 14-1 on their CT side, and the game was over. 16-1 game. But then on game 2, they won on Dust 2, which is the pick of FaZe Clan. Then we went into the decider, and the decider was Train. FaZe Clan's lost so many games that were big playoff games on that map in their time, and they did it again here, losing from the CT side. Rops came alive, really took over the game, and mouz through to the top 4. Last one was one of the biggest shocks of the day. It was North, the lowly North, the much mocked and derided MSL, sometimes correctly so. AZ, the guy everyone's been saying for a year, what's he even doing that team? Is he just best mates with MSL? The underperformers, the eternal disappointments are in the top 4 of the tournament. They've had a sick run. They've already beaten Astralis in a best of 3. They've beaten Na'Vi in a best of 3. The 2 best teams in the world. The teams that have been winning the championships recently. Now they're going to play mouz for a chance to go to the final and potentially maybe face Astralis there in an all-Danish matchup that will make Anders' dick harder than fucking, I don't know, doing calculus in the 6th century BC. There you go. Not bad. So, let's talk about this shit. And by the way, North smashed that series 2-0. MSL was out fragging simple. Enough said. So let's talk about these semis. We've got NIP versus Astralis, obviously a matchup with a lot of historic implications. And then we've got North versus mouz, teams people didn't even expect to be here, but competing for a chance to go to the final. One of these teams will be a finalist in the event leading up to the major. So NIP against Astralis. Okay, so NIP was able to win on Overpass and on Nuke against Heroic. As a result, not a lot it really can tell us, because when you go against Astralis, different kettle of fish. Forrest still the best player in this team. Rez continued his strong performance, seems to have been revitalised with the switched up NIP. The rest of the players, where you'd expect really. Then you go look at Astralis. Okay, they played on... let me think, what was the first map? Overpass, and smashed MIBR. Overpass, still a very strong map for them, still an iconic map for them, still a device map for them. Then they played on Train, which I've been saying I want teams to pick Train against Astralis. The problem is there's so few teams in the world are actually strong on this map. So FaZe tried it, no, not FaZe, MIBR tried it, but it's been a year's, like it's been at minimum 8 or 9 months, I'd say over a year, since they were a truly elite team on Train. I think they used to win on it towards the end of 2017 just because they were an amazing team. I think they were able to brute force that map sometimes. I don't think they were actually that great on it, and some of their wins were against FaZe, who also weren't that great on that map. So I even just winning 16-14, as this team has done twice against FaZe and MIBR in the last 3 months, shows that if that's their 6th best map, and that's the map that you're picking when they ban cash, What is anyone supposed to do in the map pool against this team? So I'll tell you right now, Nip has got a motherfucking uphill challenge right now. So here's the situation. And Device right now is on fire and is probably going to be the MVP of this tournament if he makes the finals. So here's what I think happens. The ban phase for Nip is very interesting because they have actually varied their bans up a decent amount. Like, for example, they have actually banned Train against some people. They've banned Overpass against some people, including Heroic. Against NRG. Sorry, I got that wrong. They've banned Overpass once against NRG, even though on paper Overpass is their best map. They've banned Dust 2 a lot, but often second rotation. They've banned Mirage a fair amount of times, including against Heroic, who had banned Cash. They've also banned Cash a lot. They've banned Inferno. This team goes all over with their bans. Then you look at Astralis. They generally just want to ban Cash. But actually, Nip isn't a Cash team. So if Nip's the first to ban, I think there's 3 options here. It's Overpass, Mirage, and Dust 2. I don't think they're going to do Dust 2 because I don't think that they're going to imagine Astralis will pick it. I don't think they're going to do Overpass, even though I think they should, because Astralis is too good on it. I think you should have to rely that you've got to play something against them. So I think logically Nip should ban Mirage. I know it's a map that Astralis has lost on, including twice at this tournament, but I think it's risky to play it if you're an IP. So I think they ban Mirage, and I think Astralis has a choice themselves. Normally they just ban Cash, because as we saw with Train, they can play every other map. Personally, I think they should ban Train. Because NIP likes Train. It's one of their better maps. You saw that, you've given a blueprint that you can get played close on Train. I think it's just a bit risky to play Train. But I actually think Astralis will think, hey, we're confident. We're not afraid. We're going to let Train through. If you want to make that your pick, make it your pick. So I actually think that instead they'll just stick with the Cash ban and say, we're just not playing that map. Even though Nip's not that much of a threat to pick Cash, quite frankly. So I think then that Nip will answer that, as you should, and they will pick Train. They've got a chance in it. It's a strong map for them. I don't think it's going to matter. I think even though Nip might actually be a better team on Train, because I haven't seen enough of Astralis on Train, I think Astralis can play Train. I think you can see on the T side, Device fits that. He controls that outer area from that mid very, very well with his AWP and sets it up so that they can do these different attacks where you never know if they're going in or fast or if they're going down the pop dog to come outside. So it's so hard to read them. I still will favour Astralis as a better team to win that map. I think Astralis will actually pick Nuke. They love the map. Sure, it's historically a good map for the guys from NIP. It's a map that they don't mind playing, but I think Astralis is unbeatable on this map right now. I think actually it's a map you want to play against NIP. If you are Astralis, it's going to be very hard for them to get into it. They can get frustrated very easily, and I think Astralis will win that map and they will win the series there. But in a world in which Nip can steal Train, I think that if this point in time, we've got the pick bans, as I say, I think that's where Nip bans Astralis, Overpass. I think this is where Astralis just says it's Dust 2 and Mirage. Now, they have their choice here. I personally think that actually they might force it to Dust 2, where they haven't been losing, and say, let's play that and ban Mirage. But then again, Astralis wants to level up. They want to show they're good on Mirage. Maybe they ban Dust 2 and make it Mirage. If it's Dust 2, I think Nip has an outside chance. If it's Mirage, I think Astralis is winning. I think Astralis is the favourite on all these maps. I can't see where Nip can go in the pick ban. Now, obviously, Nip has the freeform style. That's going to struggle against Astralis. I think Forrest's going to have his issues. I think Rez is going to be running into a fucking brick wall when he's entering against that CT side of Astralis and their amazing utility usage. So I feel bad for the guy. Generally, T sides are going to be a big problem for NIP. They've got to get some really epic CT sides and some big clutches. Then you got to look at the fact they have no answer for Device's AWP. Yes, he can sometimes choke, sometimes underperform, but can you make him? It's been a long time since Nip could make Device underperform like that. I think Device and the Astralis guys who used to be getting beat by Nip years ago are going to relish this game and they're going to feast upon NIP. So I think that the map pool's not terrible for Nip. They can at least get a Train. They can play it. They can maybe get Dust 2 in the equation. They can play against Astralis. The problem is, I think they could at best win one map, and I don't think they could win the series. They don't have the firepower, they don't have the team play, they don't have the tactics, they don't have the map pool, they don't have the T-sides. They've got a shot at one map. That's what they've got. Now, I guess as well, I've got to throw in, there's something of a black box because they haven't played any elite teams at this tournament, so I guess no one really knows how they feel because we haven't felt the resistance. That also means they could underperform and just get blown out as MIPR did on Overpass. In the other matchup, Mouse Sports versus North. So Mouse Sports won. As I said, they lost Cash with the arrogant pick, got smashed on it. Then they won on Dust 2, and then Rops really carried them on Train, and they were able to push through a game that was starting to slip away and win the decider. Then you got to look at the fact on the North side of the equation. As I said, they won very easily 2-0. They won on Train, which was Navi's pick, which very rare Navi's ever picked that. And then they won on Inferno, which is starting to become a stronger and stronger map. 3-0 with Nico in the lineup now. So the pick ban here, I think there's a lot of gamble opportunities, but actually I don't think there will be any gambles because of the way these teams are operating. Like right now, Mouse Sports is a mess behind the scenes, by the way. A lot of rumours that lineup won't survive after the major, even if they have a good major, because they're probably not going to win the major. They're obviously a team that's in flux somewhat. Snax hasn't adapted very well. Rops has been on and off, except for that third game there. He's generally been actually underwhelming these last few months since Snax joined. Oscar's looking a bit disconnected. I think they've got some issues here with the map pool. So I think Mouse Sports just sticks with the overpass ban, even though they should gamble here, because that's not a map that actually you expect North's going to pick. I don't think they'll waste their pick on it, but I think they will just stick with the overpass ban anyway, as they did against FaZe Clan, who hasn't shown as much on overpass. North, likewise, should gamble. I think they will just go with their safe cash ban. It's safe. Mouse Sports got wrecked on it anyway. Doesn't really fucking matter. I doubt they'd pick it. I'd personally like them to gamble and ban Dust too. Just get that out of the equation. Don't give Mouse Sports a game on it and give them a confidence map. But I think North will stick with a safety ban and just go with cash. So I think Mouse Sports will pick Dust too. I think they liked what happened for them against FaZe Clan. I think it is a good map for them. It's not that great a tactical map at the moment, so I don't think North's going to be that well drilled on it. North's particularly good on Mirage, so I don't think you want to pick Mirage against them. I actually think if they pick Dust 2 here, I'll give it to Mouse Sports. I think they can win this map. I think it's not that great a map for North. I think they've got the comfort on this map. They haven't played it very often. They haven't played it at all with Nico either, an official player. I think North will continue to pick Inferno, as they have been doing. It's not a great map for the guys from Mouse Sports. It's been very up and down for them. Like, they've lost the majority of them. Their only win was against Na'Vi, which, fair enough, that's amazing, but that was their only win, and Na'Vi's a team that's falling off. So I actually think it's become one of their worst maps, and that you've got to forget the old Mouse Sports that had strengths on it. So I think North's going to follow up with the Inferno pick, which is the right pick here. I think that they could also pick Mirage, but I think that's risky. And I think if they pick Inferno, North's going to win this map. We're getting 3 maps. I think then Mouse bans Nuke. They don't want it. North's good on it. Seems logical. North should ban Train here. They have the choice between Mirage and Train. Now, I would prefer they ban Mirage and play Train, because actually I think you saw some signs on how to beat them, and you saw that Mouse can be a bit ropey on that map and relied a lot on ropes on that map. So I personally would like to play them, and if I'm MSL, you've got a demo to watch there. But I think instead that you'll ban Train and go to Mirage, because it's one of your best maps. It's one of the maps you like. You beat Astralis on it. You're feeling confident. It is your home map if you are MSL right now, even though you're starting to make Inferno your home map. I think if they get to that, it's a 50-50 coin flip. I could see Mouse Sports having the raw skill to do it, playing some nice play. Could see Sally having a nice T side. But I'm going to say the opposite happens. I'm going to say North continues some of this form, and they grind out that third map Mirage, and they win the series 2-1. So I'm saying Astralis 2-0, North 2-1. Now, in terms of this last series, though, North has a legit chance. I feel like it's a 50-50 series. If they pull something crazy, like they ban Dust 2, then I'm going to favour North even more. But I don't think they will, so I think that Dust 2 can go to Mouse Sports. MSL's been fragging way too well in this tournament. That seems implausible, so expecting that to drop off against players like Mouse Sports have. Then again, though, the ROPS factor that Mouse had in Game 3 against FaZe also hasn't been present for the last few tournaments, so maybe that drops off again. I think a lot of this game is on Oscar. If Oscar can hard carry and be the superstar best player in the server, he can definitely out-AWP MSL. He can have a big difference making there. Valde, though, could also go ahead and be the best player in the server. Nice all-round game, clutch, amazing anchor insights, very consistent. He's got to do a lot. I think that, yes, I think overall Mouse has the better players, but the better team right now looks like North. Map pool's somewhat even, maybe even edge it to North, because Mouse has been able to get some wins on maps you don't think they should win on. I'm going to say North wins it. I'm going to say we get the Astralis North all-Danish final, and won't that be fucking epic? This video was kindly supported by Dean Tanglis, Gardner Wilson, Andreas Snazore Westerlund, Alex Adams, Eddie Wingfors, Daniel Yordanov, Robert Baxter, Travis Greb, Kyla Harris, James Harding, Caesar, and special thanks go out to Matt Shakowski and Jerky's Minion in particular. Want teasers for my upcoming content? How about asking me a question for my monthly AMA? Do you want to take part in a discussion about esports with me? How about suggesting a topic or a guest for my content? Put your money where your mouth is and join the Scrilluminati today.